Shakur Stevenson may be boring, but he is unstoppable. Now, he did get a questionable stoppage win on Saturday against Josh Padley. Padley wasn't a champion or a contender. The guy was a last-minute replacement, who's also an electrician. Now, I'm not here to bash Padley. I have a lot of respect for him and anybody who takes a fight on a short day's notice, so I wish him great health and success throughout his career. But that fight did not look good for Shakur. Shakur was supposed to stop that guy within 5 rounds. Instead, it took 9 rounds. Shakur also took some shots that if you were to take against a guy like Tank, he's probably going to sleep. There are a few factors we need to consider. The first is maybe Shakur just didn't take it as serious, especially after Schofield backed out. Maybe he just wanted to enjoy the fight and not push his body too much. The second is maybe Padley was just a tough boxer who was hard to take out. At the end of the day, he's still a professional boxer. On top of that, he's a blue-collar worker being an electrician, so those guys are always tough. The last thing to consider is Shakur's hands, and this should be a big worry for Shakur and his team. Shakur's hands have been looking rough lately, especially since he had hand surgery. Maybe he just doesn't have it anymore in his hands to stop guys. These are just speculations, but what I won't say is Shakur is a bad fighter. Back to the intro and the title of this video. Yes, he's a boring fighter, but I still see him as unbeatable. I always had Shakur being one of the most skillful boxers in the sport of boxing. He's a very smart boxer. Reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. And of course, he's not on the level of Floyd, no one's saying that, but he reminds me of the similar styles. Very good body puncher, very good patient boxer. Lets the boxers come to him, and then when they do, they regret it. All right, very good at counterpunching. A very smart fighter. Because of that, though, he's a boring fighter. It hurts business. Floyd Mayweather was a similar fighter. Already at the end of his career, he started to become a more boring fighter. In his prime, Floyd was a dangerous fighter. Pretty boy Floyd, he's let his hands go. Even a lot more than Shakur, no doubt about it. Shakur's really in his prime, in his young self, yet he's fighting like an older Floyd. Now, of course, he's going to keep winning. That's going to be better for him. It's going to be better for his brain, better for his health. But business-wise, don't expect to ever sell big numbers on pay-per-view. Don't expect to be getting the big money fights unless it's really for Tank, alrighty? But if you're going to be fighting some contenders, if you're going to be fighting mandatories like Floyd Schofield, alright, obviously I'm not going to blame him for fighting Padley. He had to do what he had to do, take care of business. But originally it was Floyd Schofield. Don't expect to be a headline for a card. The only way he's going to be a headline for a card is fighting guys like Loma, fighting guys like Keyshawn Davis, fighting guys like Gervonta Davis. Listen, if you want to be boring, that's fine, but you got to be fighting good guys then if you want to do that. Now, why do I see him as unbeatable? Back to what I just said. He's a very skillful fighter, a very patient fighter. I have him beating Tank by unanimous decision. If he does not get caught like he was against Padley. He was taking some good shots against Padley that he should not be taking. Tank is a skillful boxer as well. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm not saying anything bad about that. But I think Shakur has the ability, just the way he is with the style, to be patient, to let Tank come to him and just outbox him, counter him. Now, like I mentioned though, Tank can't throw an overhand right and have that land, because if he does, Shakur's going to sleep. Alrighty? Any lightweight is going to sleep if they get an overhand right or an uppercut or a big shot from Tank. But I think Shakur's the type of guy to keep a guy like Tank off him and avoid those big shots. Loma, I love Loma, but 5 years ago, alrighty, I would have had Loma easily beating Shakur. Not anymore. Loma's an older guy. I think if Shakur was to fight Loma, I think Shakur would beat him by decision. Same thing with Keyshawn Davis. I mean, Keyshawn Davis would be the easiest guy for him to beat. I think Shakur would beat Keyshawn Davis. I'm sure we all could agree. I really have Shakur beating Davis pretty easily. But what I don't think we'll ever see again with Shakur is a stoppage victory. I don't think we're ever going to see another knockout from Shakur Stevenson. I'll be amazed. But his hands are really a problem. Those hands look rough already, and that's the thing. It happens. It doesn't matter how hard you punch. Some people just have brittle hands, some people don't. He suffered hand injuries in the past. Photos of his hands don't look good. And then, of course, just his career in general, not having many knockouts. So once again, I guess Shakur's a boring fighter, but I think he beats anybody at lightweight. Now, he's not going to be unbeatable the rest of his career, but I think right now, I think he has what it takes to outbox anybody, making him unbeatable. Of course, he's a boring fighter. I still think he's top 10 pound for pound. And let's not forget the history of Shakur Stevenson. 3-division champion, all right? Defended his belt quite a few times. Had some good wins against Oscar Valdez, Jamal Herring, Robert Conceição. So he needs to get a bigger fight though soon. He needs to fight an A-level boxer. He needs to unify. He needs to go for unification bout. There should be no excuses now. Alrighty, Turkey's offering big money. He's with Eddie Hearn. There should be no excuses why his next fight should not be for a unification bout. The thing about the lightweight division is it's stacked. But there's so much talk. It's always been like that. The lightweight division has always been filled with divas of always talking, but never actually fighting the best. Loma and Haney, gotta respect it. They fought the best. George Kambosos, really just Haney in general. I mean, he never ducked. And I like that about Haney. You can hate Haney all you want, but he never ducked. Right? Same thing with George Kambosos. I mean, he wanted it. Lomachenko, of course. But Tank and Shakur, Keyshawn Davis, I mean, these guys aren't going at it like they used to. And even Loma now, he's being a duck. I won't admit, I won't lie. Alright, Loma's being a duck, but the 135 division is stacked, but nobody fights them. Nobody fights the best. So I don't know, guys. I think Shakur's unbeatable. Not for long, but if he was to fight Tank this year, I have Shakur beating him by unanimous decision. I know it's crazy, but I think Shakur has the ability to keep Tank off him, not catch a big punch, and simply outbox him. Let me know what you guys think. I'm out, guys. Peace.